Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Mermaid Mystic Substack channel. I've got a week ahead reading for you right here. If you'd like to grab a pen and paper so that you can take notes, because as I do the reading, I am teaching about the card and runes. Go ahead, pause the video, grab your pen and paper so you can have a little learning lesson. Otherwise, I'm just going to dive right into the reading. Okay, so a week ahead reading, I'm using tarot and runes. I'm doing this because a common question I get asked is, can I mix modalities when I'm doing a reading? So can I use more than one tarot deck? Can I use tarot and oracle decks? Can I use tarot and runes, etc.? My stance on this, I don't wish to be prescriptive. I kind of just want to share what I have found to be the most helpful and wisdom I've been lucky enough to learn from my teachers, is that a reading is meant to be of service, right? So whether that's you're doing it for yourself and it's like healing, helping you feel seen, giving you some guidance, if you're sharing it with someone else, doing the same for them, it's meant to be of service. So I just say use whatever tools in your tool belt are going to help you give the best reading. And so if you're like, I only want to use this one deck, by all means, only use the one deck. If you want to use multiple decks, if you want to use tarot and runes, if that changes depending on each person, fantastic. You're going to use the tools you need to give the best reading, and that can change from reading to reading. So my answer to that question is do whatever you got to do to be of service. Don't worry so much what other people are saying you should or shouldn't do. There's a lot of people who like to make up rules. I found spirit is like, ha ha ha, when humans try to control it too much. So that's my take. I'm pretty flexible. Okay, my friends, so let's dive into the actual reading with tarot and runes. So as I said, we've got this Two of Cups. We've got this card of relationships. Two of Cups is really about close relationships. So think about it as like you and a best friend, or like you and a partner, or maybe you have like a really close business partner, something like this, but these really close relationships. That's the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is very much about reciprocity. So relationships are always about give and take, not in a transactional way, because I think that can get pretty poisonous. You know, like I did this for you, now you have to do this for me. That can get a bit manipulative and weird. But reciprocity more is that we feel like there is a flow of give and take that feels peaceful and harmonious. And that'll look different at different points in our relationships, right? Like there might be a time where a friend is really going through it. We are going to give more during that time. But in the overarching story of our relationship, there's going to be a time where you need it and that person's going to come in. So that's the idea of reciprocity. It's not like tit for tat. It's not keeping track. It's just this sense, this harmonious sense of giving and receiving and of sharing. And that keeps the spirit of the relationship very strong. And that's very much what the Two of Cups is talking about this week. So we're going to be focusing on those close relationships. They're going to be coming up for us in some capacity. And we want to have very healthy, thriving spirits of our relationships, because spirit is like the energy of your relationship. And we've got some rune guidance on how it can really be thriving. So again, you can be thinking if it's your partner or a very close friend or maybe a very close family member. And we got this rune, Wenyo. So Wenyo is this rune of bliss, of harmony, and of gratitude. So the sense I got by the way, when you're doing your readings, so those are some like keywords about Wenyo. There's going to be something that sticks out to you. You're going to feel it. This is your intuition talking to you. And that is how you are going to give really clear readings, because you're going to know about your tarot cards or oracle cards or whatever you're using, or runes. But that little inner click, that little inner yoo-hoo, that's going to help you give readings that are really accurate and really like hit home for yourself and for others. So for me, my little intuitive yoo-hoo was the word gratitude. And so I sat with this and I realized this is an opportunity for us to reevaluate what gratitude is. Because depending on where you're at, gratitude might actually sometimes feel like it has been served with a little side of fear, shame, and guilt. A story that came to mind that I thought would illustrate this in a helpful way was I was one time with a whole bunch of, I was in like a group setting. And we were talking about spells, we were talking about magic, and we started talking about money magic. And we were kind of just talking about what we would do with like a whole lot of money. And it was the spirit of the conversation, the energy of the conversation was wonderful. It was like, it ended up, you could tell it was just a bunch of like nature loving weirdos, because we were just like, I would buy all this land and save every animal ever. But we got like really excited. We were like, oh my gosh, can you imagine having this like big plot of land and like all the cats? And we're like, oh my gosh, the cows. We could plant native plant species. We could like hire our friends. Like it was this beautiful energy. It was just like if you were to like feel into, when I feel into it, it was just like this swirling, colorful vortex of possibility. And it was just so cool. And then this one person was like, I work with all these people who have like so little, and you should just be grateful for what you have. And it was like all this beautiful swirling vortex of possibility just was like thunk, thunk. And it just became this kind of like hard, dense rock of like guilt and shame for daring to dream of more. And the conversation ended. The vibe totally changed. And I remember being like annoyed with this person because I was like, come on, why are you doing this? But I was also like, whoa, that was like really interesting. So I bring this up because I think sometimes in this case, gratitude felt a way to like keep people in line. Perhaps this individual felt triggered by discussions of wealth because they have issues with that subject, right? And instead of taking a second to be like, why does this make me uncomfortable? We project it out into the world, right? So, that's just a possibility. So this is where guilt is sometimes used as like keeping you in line. You should just be grateful for what you have. Don't ask for more. This I disagree with. I think you'd be so grateful for everything and still dream of what you want to create or do or share. We're always meant to be evolving and growing and changing. So I don't think gratitude is meant to be like, stay put. I also feel like sometimes gratitude with that little side of guilt or shame is a bit like, oh, just be grateful. And you're like, I'm so sorry. So I have found that sometimes gratitude needs a bit of a wringing out of the sponge of the stuff that people put on it to get to like the truth of gratitude. And I certainly don't want to be a person who's like, I know the truth of gratitude, but I will share the way I've experienced gratitude that I found to be helpful and I think is very much coming up for us this week. I realize gratitude is just, it's like living in appreciation. It's like actively setting your eyeball lasers to appreciate. And when you do, if you've ever heard that, like when you appreciate your blessings, they grow. I think part of that is just when you appreciate them, you actually see them. When you're not appreciating them, sometimes you got like a little tunnel vision and you're not seeing clearly all the many things to be grateful for. So when you open your eyeballs to gratitude, you start to be like, oh, you start to see all these things to be grateful for. Now, pertaining to our relationships, and this energy of giving and receiving, because that's key for thriving relationships, we can be more grateful for ourselves. You can be more grateful for the fact that you're really funny, or more grateful for the fact that you're really wise, grateful for the fact that you are compassionate, or you come up with the best date ideas, or you're an excellent listener. And this is not to be like, and therefore I am better than other people. I think that sometimes where people get a bit tripped up, where we want to be appreciative of ourselves, you're not saying you're better than anyone. You're just appreciating the gifts that you have. And then again, if appreciation and gratitude has got a bit of this kind of like growth energy, then you will see more clearly your gifts, and then you will share more easily your gifts. So thinking about Wunyo with this energy of harmony, it's more harmonious if you just are kind of chill and grateful for them. You're not like, I'm grateful for them and I'm better than everyone. You're just like, oh yeah, I am like really fun. I do come up with the best date ideas. I am a good listener. And then that might like inspire you to plan a cool date or plan a cool outing with some friends, or just call a friend and be like, hey, how's it going? And listen, right? It kind of just clears the path to enjoy and share your gifts. And then in a relationship, if we can see another person and be like, man, I'm so grateful that they are so thoughtful. I'm so grateful that they provide such a safe space for me to be flawed. I'm whatever, you know what I mean? Like, When you see it, and maybe say, hey, I really appreciated that about you. It just seems like the channels for these things to happen are more clear, and we see them and then we enjoy them more. So I realized gratitude was a way to be truly grateful, but to see more clearly and to enjoy more clearly and to share more clearly. So I've kind of found like gratitude was enjoyment, clarity, and sharing. And I was like, well, I like gratitude. I also felt like it was a little bit of respect. Like when I give offerings to the earth, I'm like, thank you so much for, oh my gosh, all these amazing things. I feel like it's respectful, you're not just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. You're like, hey, thank you so much. It feels respected, So that's the vibe I'm getting for the spirit of our relationship this week. You can respect yourself by being like, I'm so glad I'm nice, or I'm so glad I'm kind, or whatever it is. I'm so glad I'm protective. I don't know. We can be grateful. We can respect ourselves. We can respect the gods for these wonderful gifts instilled in us. We can respect our partners by being like, I love that you do this, right? We can respect the earth who we're in relationship with. We can respect our spirit guides who we're in relationship with. I was like, wow, gratitude is the coolest when you look at it this way. So that is the sense I'm getting for our week. Our relationships are really going to thrive with ourselves and with others. And if we bring in that joyful gratitude, not guilt gratitude, not trying to keep you in line gratitude, not don't ever change gratitude, like controlling gratitude. True, for me, clarity, enjoyment, respectful gratitude. I did pull one more rune just to get a little awareness if there's any stickies, any challenges to be aware of. And we got this rune, Manas. Okay, so Manas is this rune of humankind and all of the joys and challenges that are involved with humans needing each other. Okay, so if that's the challenge, I sat and I was like, what's my little intuitive yoo-hoo? And the sense I got was the collective. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I felt into that and I was like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. So I got the sense with the collective, sometimes what we do, because we're exposed to so much, right? Whether it's like people we see in our lives or social media or pop culture like television or whatever, or books, there's like all these examples of relationships around us. The sense I got as the challenge this week is we may have some unrealistic or unhealthy illusions or expectations of what relationships should be like, and we're not allowing them to be messy. And so we might be not fully grateful for the relationships we have because we've watched like too many episodes of like Bridgerton or something. And no beef to that show. It's a great show, but it's not really showing what needs to happen for healthy, successful relationships. It doesn't really show the times where things are just sort of whatever, you know, they're not really hot and heavy. That's okay. They're not showing the difficult conversations. They're not showing the couples counseling. They're not showing the moments of insecurity or doubt, like, and those are all just a part of being human, right? So I got the sense that this week, another way that we're going to really enjoy our relationships, we're going to feel more confident, more loving, more compassionate with ourselves and with others, is to realize that being a human is a bit of a messy experience. Whatever squeaky clean pressure or illusion that we've been, conditioned or to think is just that, an illusion. Everyone's coming with some kind of challenges or wounding because that is a part of being human. So if you can just let yourself be like, oh yeah, of course I'm flawed. I'm human, but I can be a beautiful mess. Then all of a sudden there's all this room, there's all this harmony, there's all this space to see yourself more clearly, to love yourself more fully, and then to make any helpful changes that you need to make. Because a lot of us will have to make changes in our lives because like that's just learning and growing. And so will the people you're in relationship with, right? So if you can bring it back to like, I'm not a character in a romantasy book. I'm not a character in a television show. Or if you feel like you're comparing things to people you know in the world, just know that like behind the seemingly happy relationship is those hard conversations or those challenging moments or the messes or the arguments, right? So I just get the sense this week that if you can remove the pressures or the illusions that may have been absorbed through social media or through pop culture, and if you can give yourself and the people you're in relationship permission to be human, then there's going to be more flowing gratitude, and there's going to be, I just get a sense, a bit of ease. And that's what's really also going to help feed the spirit of your relationship, make any healthy changes that need to be made, but also really enjoy and share your gifts and the gifts of the relationship. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. Always a joy to connect with you and read for you. Wishing you just the very best readings with whatever modalities you use. Thank you again. Have a wonderful week.